Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Thursday, April the 23rd, the year 2020. Let's talk trading. You can do it. Oh, the last 2 days we were talking about you do it to yourself, and I've got Walmal on the line again, and he's going to tell you that you can do it.
Yeah, for me anyway. It's been a great day, and I hope it's been profitable for y'all as well. And let's go and talk trading.
Okay, so just remember, boys and girls and non-binary traders, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and Walmal's. Trading is extremely risky. You can lose all of your money. If you need trading, investment, or financial advice, seek the advice of an accredited financial professional. And remember, always have your risk management in place. Don't lose more than you're willing to lose per trade. Okay, Walmal. So tell the traders out there what you did.
Well, let's go back off a day, and just yesterday when we were talking, I was down pretty severely, and I did it to myself. I took a bad trade. Then on top of it, I compounded it by trying to average in, so I made the bad trade worse, and I took a pretty big hit yesterday. But what I did was I just stuck to it and just kept on going. And by the end of the day, I was down what my average goal is for a day. So I wasn't down heavy. I was just down, which is not a good place to be, but it's certainly a whole lot better than where I was at. And then today was a fantastic day. And in fact, today I've made 4 times my daily goal. And that's the whole thing. You got to stick to it. You just got to keep on plugging away, plugging away, plugging away. We know this will work because of statistics. We know that, if we're talking about Walmal trades, we know that, the pound or the euro, depending on what currency you're using, is going to move more than 10 pips. Statistically, we just know that. Talking about the euro this morning, the euro, just reading off right now, it's 12 pips, but the ranges so far have been 30, 30, 22, 30, 13, 35. And if we're looking to take a trade when it comes across one of those lines that are 10 pips apart, you're going to make money. You just have to go and stick to it, and you just got to pick your entries. I was just telling TRO there that, I just took a loss on a trade of, about 5 pips because that's what my trading plan was. Fine, I took a loss, but if I would have stuck in it, here's the reality. Right now, I'd be up 5 pips. But I can't look at it that way. I stuck to my trading plan. That's the most important thing to do. Stick to the trading plan. Because in the long run, that's what's going to work. You figured out what you want to do. You figured out what the charts are telling you to do. You figured out your plan to go forward. Stick to it.
Yeah, and Walmart has a different broker than I do. So when he was reading off the ranges, they're like 1 or 2 pips off from mine. If you look at the chart, and also if you look at this hour, you can see here that it looks like it was tough sledding. I've got a 5-minute chart up. You can see right here, price moved up, or maybe I'll just turn it back to the 1 minute. Because I guess maybe on that trade you said you had to take a loss. You probably went long and it went short on you.
Yeah, I went long at the beginning of the hour on a Walmal trade when it crossed the line, and it just went south on me. And I got out at -5 pips because normally my stop loss to get out of that on a trade like that goes right against me is 3, somewhere between 3 and 5. And because the way the euro's been moving today, I said, you know what, I'm going to go and get out at 5. And when I got to 5, I got out and took a loss. Now, if I had stayed, I would have hit my emergency stop loss, which is 10 pips, and I could have gotten out with +5. But that's not really the point. The point is sticking to the trade, sticking to what your plan is, because that's what is going to work over time. Maybe hindsight's 2020, and
it is
beat yourself up. That's not good because when you start beating yourself up over things like that, what happens is you start getting dejected. You don't get into the next trade. And to be honest with you, if we were making this video, and if we weren't making this video, I would have jumped into that trade a second time, and this time I would have made 5 pips. And so I would have had a loss of 5 and a gain of 5, and so it would have netted out to 0. So Okay, that's okay. Next trade will put me in profit, hopefully. I don't know if it will or not, but that's statistically it should.
Yeah. On your trade, you said you got in at the beginning of the hour. Did you get on the first minute or did you wait? Because I'm looking at the chart here, and it looks like price actually went up to let's see, a high of 107,915.
Yeah, and that was what I did is I waited for the second time because that's normally what I do.
Right.
And that's that's what killed me.
Yeah, because there wasn't much to be had there.
Right, and the thing is, and honestly, that is part of my trading plan. I usually try to wait for that second piercing. The reason why is I found too often, especially with the euro, it goes and it puts in a wick at first, and then it drops back down, and a lot of times it goes all the way back down to the other side and comes out the other side. That's just a behavior that I've noticed personally with the euro, so I always wait for the second. Well, guess what? This time it didn't work out. What is that? Trading.
Yeah.
You just, you take the loss, you take your lumps, and that's okay. Because, again, I'm repeating myself. Probably sound like a dead horse here, but, beating a dead horse here. But the reality is, statistically, that's what you got to rely upon, and that's why every Friday afternoon I run all my statistics again to include the last week so that as the ball moves, I'm able to keep up with it.
Yeah, so I've got the just the standard Walmal, the original Walmal method chart up here right now. We can see price just went below the H1 open, and it's moving down pretty nicely.
Yep. And it's just it's going to go right now. We're at 15 pips, so the reality is today. I've seen so many times it went 30. I may take a chance on a trade to the downside, but statistically, I shouldn't. And the reason why is because typically, when I look at my chart, I see that the euro moves somewhere between 15 and 20 pips at any particular hour. So statistically, that's a no trade. However, because of what's going on in total in the current market condition, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But here's another thing that you got to keep in mind, and I am not a fundamental guy, a guy that goes and bases trades off of fundamentals, in other words, what Forex Factory puts out there. But the reason why those numbers are so high today is because there was a lot of news that came out, for the European Union and for the pound, and also just now for about an hour ago, I guess it was, for the U.S. on the job market. So that forced it. But right now, there's going to be new news coming out at 9:45, but it's nothing of any consequence. Those things do move the market, and so did we get those big numbers because the market's moving a lot today, or was it because the news moved the market? Well, it's probably because the news moved the market, and because we're going into a dead time, well, we're probably going to start moving back into ranges of somewhere between 15 and 20 again. I'm not taking that trade. It's just not worth the risk.
Yeah, I'm looking just now. There was a trigger to the long. Now, something I don't think we've really talked about it, but I think a few traders might want to know is how many times would you trade during an hour using this method?
I try to trade. My general goal is I try to go and trade one time. Okay, with the Walmal method, not with some of the other methods that we've been doing back and forth, TRL, but with the Walmal method, I want to trade one time and get a winner. I may take the second trade. If I took a loser, I may take the second trade. That's really about it, because the thing is, your momentum gets, it just wears down. And what you've seen when we've been on the phone, when we've been trading together, is that right now, on my clock, on my dealer clock, it's 14:34. This is a no trade zone for me, because we're past the half hour. The vast majority of all the market movement has probably occurred right for that hour, although we'll see movement again at the 55-minute time again. But, that's just trades being closed out by, banks and whatever. I don't know what it is, but I just know at 55 minutes, the market moves and moves usually pretty erratically. So I don't want to trade back in that time because I don't know where it's going to go. So, the long answer is one, maybe two trades on the Walmal method an hour. That's it. You don't want to be doing more than that. When the markets were moving more smoothly than they are right now, because the markets are still pretty erratic because of the coronavirus stuff that's going on. What I was taking on a good day I was taking one trade a day. On a bad day I was taking three trades a day. A loss, a win, and a win. And that's what I needed to do to go and meet goal for the week. And so I think I answered your question.
Yeah. Because I'm just looking here. We just got another 2 minutes ago. We got another long trigger, and I was thinking that it's people will probably be wanting to know how many times an hour you do it. But there's something though to look at. If you look at the last hour, you can see price ran up over 20 pips from the top of the previous hour's Walmal zone, which had a top of 70, and then it put in, so this hour has a top of 90. But if you look, you can see right at the beginning of the hour, price was struggling to go up because it already put in a high. There's a nice big candle there, nice big bull candle. So it's one of those things where that might tell you to say maybe you need to sit on your hands in that particular case.
That's exactly right. And the thing is, you see that being put in place that, the market's struggling. Why are you going to fight the market? Trade what you see. If you see the market can't get above a particular level, why are you going to go and do that? Now, once it breaks it, and if you're able to get in with a good price, sure, take it. If you can get in with a good price, but don't at the same time jump in, and next thing you know, the market's moved 5 pips against you. Now that's trying to catch a falling knife. That's not good. But if you can get in with a good price, sure, once it breaks it. But if you see that it can't get above something, like right now, it's struggling to get above 95, 96 on my charts.
Right.
We're sitting at a range of 16 pips for this hour. I said 15 to 20 is what we normally see. I'm sorry. And this thing may make a liar out of me and blast all the way up to, 1.09 or something like that. I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. But what I do know is that it's not, for me personally, it's not worth the risk.
Right. And so, looking at my below between indicator, between the 80 and 70, I'm sorry, between the 00 and the 90, I'm looking at this wrong. You can see here that it's been between there 56% of the time. And then it's crossed above it, actually it just crossed above it 59% and closed above it 41%. So you can see it's going to cross above it, but chances are it's not going to close above it. So it's you take your pips and get.
Yeah, and that's and this is a very, very important thing to take as a takeaway from this. I said I wouldn't take this trade. I got to, from a psychological point of view, I got to say my trading plan and the reasons why. Those were my reasons. Right. I can't get upset with that.
Right.
Fine. I missed out on 10 pips. So what? Yeah.
Yeah. So what? So if you go to just the pure price action screen, we had a green candle at the 7,900 and it's moved. It's pretty much that simple. And right here, it looked like it went through the 80, but in reality, at least on my chart, it didn't go through that 80. And that's just something, let's see, where did I put it? You can see right here, this candle, it looks like the low was 803. So it didn't touch it. And a lot of times people are going to want to rush it and get in. But, it doesn't work that way. And once again, the fastest 15 minutes in trading is up. So, fellow traders, just remember, you can do it. You just have to stick to your plan, trade what you see. Because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So get out there, drain the banks, hit subscribe, hit like, hit the bell so you'll know when I put out the video. And TheRumpledOne with Walmal signing